Not every sign is loud. Not every confirmation comes as success, clarity, or sudden happiness. Some signs are quiet, so quiet that you can miss them if you're only looking for proof. This reflection is not here to convince you that everything is perfect. It's here to notice what's subtle, what's easy to overlook, what doesn't announce itself. One of the first quiet signs that you're on the right path is that your life feels simpler, even if it's not easier. You may have fewer people around, fewer distractions, fewer explanations, but there is less inner conflict. You're no longer forcing yourself into places that feel wrong. You're no longer chasing approval the way you once did. There is a sense of alignment, even if there's uncertainty. Another quiet sign is that things are falling away. This can feel unsettling at first. Plans change, relationships shift, old goals lose their grip. You might think something is going wrong, but often nothing is wrong. What's happening is subtraction. Life removes what no longer fits before it brings what does. This phase feels empty, but it is not meaningless. When you're on the right path, you may also feel misunderstood, not because you're doing something wrong, but because your priorities have changed. What excites others no longer excites you. What once mattered deeply now feels distant. You don't argue about it, you don't announce it, you simply feel it. This quiet detachment is not loss of passion, it's clarity forming. Another sign is that you become more selective with your energy. You don't react to everything. You don't explain yourself constantly. You don't need to be everywhere. This is not laziness, it's discernment. You are learning where your energy belongs and where it doesn't. That awareness doesn't come early in life, it comes after exhaustion. When you're on the right path, you may feel slower. Your pace changes. You think before acting. You pause before responding. You reflect more. The world may call this hesitation, but it's not. It's presence. You are no longer rushing to escape yourself. One of the clearest quiet signs is that your inner voice becomes softer. Not silent, but calmer. It doesn't scream. It doesn't panic. It doesn't constantly compare. It observes. And that observation is grounding. You may still have doubts. You may still have fear. You may still feel lost at times. But underneath all of that, there is a steady sense that you don't need to turn back, even when you don't know what's ahead. You just know this direction feels honest. Another quiet sign is that you stop needing constant reassurance. You still appreciate support, but you don't collapse without it. You trust yourself more, even when outcomes are unclear. This trust is not confidence, it's familiarity. You've learned how you respond to challenges. You've seen yourself survive uncertainty. That memory becomes strength. When you're on the right path, you often experience delays. Things take longer than expected. Progress feels slow. Results don't arrive on schedule. This can be frustrating, but delay is not denial. Sometimes timing is protection. Sometimes patience is preparation. If everything arrived too quickly, you might not recognize it when it comes. Another sign is that you feel more honest in your solitude. Being alone no longer feels like failure. It feels neutral, sometimes even necessary. You don't distract yourself as much. You sit with your thoughts. You notice your patterns. This self-awareness is a form of alignment. You may also notice that your definition of success changes. It becomes less about achievement and more about peace, less about proving and more about understanding, less about recognition and more about inner stability. This shift is subtle but powerful. When you're on the right path, you begin to accept uncertainty instead of fighting it. You don't need all the answers. You don't need a perfect plan. You allow things to unfold without controlling every detail. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop resisting life. Another sign is emotional balance. Not constant happiness, not constant calm, but quicker recovery. You feel emotions fully, but they don't stay as long. You return to yourself faster. You may also notice that your life feels quieter externally, but richer internally. Less noise, more meaning. Less stimulation, more awareness. This inner richness is often invisible to others. One of the most overlooked signs is that you stop trying to convince people. You don't need them to understand. You don't need agreement. You let people think what they think. That freedom is not indifference, it's maturity. When you're on the right path, you still have hard days, but they don't make you question who you are. They pass through you, not define you. There is a growing sense that even uncertainty has a place, that confusion is part of movement, that stillness is part of progress. You don't rush yourself anymore, and that patience is a sign in itself.
Sometimes, being on the right path feels lonely, not because you're isolated, but because your inner world has changed faster than your outer world. You don't fit old conversations. You don't resonate with old habits. This gap feels uncomfortable, but temporary. Another sign is that you notice small things more. Moments, pauses, subtle feelings. Life feels less dramatic, but more real. You're no longer chasing intensity. You're appreciating presence. When you're on the right path, your intuition becomes quieter but clearer. It doesn't rush you. It nudges you. You feel gentle resistance when something isn't right, and ease when something is. You trust that signal. You may also experience moments of unexpected peace. Not happiness, not excitement, just peace. And you wonder, why do I feel okay right now? That calm is alignment. Another sign is that you stop judging yourself as harshly. You understand your past instead of criticizing it. You see mistakes as learning, not failure. That self-compassion is a strong indicator that you are growing in the right direction. When you're on the right path, you feel more grounded in your body. Breathing feels deeper. Tension releases more easily. Your nervous system slowly relaxes. This is often the body's confirmation before the mind catches up. You may still feel fear, but it no longer controls your decisions. You acknowledge it, then choose consciously. One quiet sign is gratitude without effort. You're not forcing positivity. You simply notice what's steady. That steadiness matters. When you're on the right path, you don't feel the need to rush into the next version of yourself. You allow yourself to be here, and here feels enough for now. This doesn't mean you've arrived. It means you're aligned. The right path rarely feels like fireworks. It feels like honesty, like relief, like breathing without pressure. If you're experiencing even a few of these signs, trust them. They don't shout, but they don't lie.
You don't need constant confirmation to be on the right path. You don't need visible success to validate it. Often, the right path feels quiet because it's rooted. It's not trying to impress, it's trying to sustain you.
If things are simplifying, if you're listening more, if you're forcing less, if you're learning patience, these are not accidents. They are signals. You may not see the destination yet, but the way you're moving matters more than where you're going. Trust the quiet. Trust the subtle shifts. Trust the calm that appears without explanation.